All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Teddy Atlas outright begs Anthony Joshua to not fight Deontay Wilder, and his co-host says that he thinks that Anthony Joshua might have been poisoned or tampered with before his loss to Andy Ruiz. These guys are gigantic hypocrites, in my opinion. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the show. Man, I listened to Teddy Atlas's podcast again today, and I'm telling you, these guys are completely incapable of treating Deontay Wilder fairly. They will interpret the same set of facts or the same circumstance for one person one way, and for Deontay Wilder, this pretty much the same scenario completely differently. So completely, patently, openly anti-Deontay Wilder. It's just amazing. So let me explain, but I'm saying that, let me tell you exactly why I say that. First, they start off with Deontay Wilder. Well, they start talking about Anthony Joshua's performance against Kubrat Pulev. And Teddy Atlas says that it was pretty much just garbage and that he looked like he was still damaged from the loss to Andy Ruiz, and that Tyson Fury right now will demolish him, that he will be aggressive and he will demolish him, right? That's what they say about Tyson Fury. Same question about Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua without being prompt. What do they say? Deontay Wilder, this is what Teddy Atlas says, will destroy Anthony Joshua because Anthony Joshua is not all the way back from his knockout loss to Andy Ruiz. But for some reason, Tyson Fury, who would destroy Anthony Joshua, you got to make that fight. That's the fight to make right now, because Tyson Fury will destroy Anthony Joshua. No need to wait 3 or 4 fights for Anthony Joshua to get his head together for Tyson Fury, even though Teddy Atlas thinks that Tyson Fury will destroy Anthony Joshua. It's time for the fight right now, right? But with Deontay Wilder, who just may destroy Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury's Teddy Atlas' response was, keep him as far away from that guy as you possibly can. Why? If Tyson Fury is the greatest heavyweight in the world, he's 6'9", he's gigantic, he's going to be aggressive and run through Anthony Joshua, and Deontay Wilder's just a one-punch wonder that may hit Anthony Joshua, why not fight Deontay Wilder as one of the fights to get ready for Tyson Fury? Seems like that would be where the logic would point him, but no, the logic doesn't point him in that direction. The logic points him into, even though Teddy Atlas and Mark Rideout believe that Tyson Fury will destroy Anthony Joshua, fight him now instead of Deontay Wilder. Why? What's the difference? Because you like the outcome if Tyson Fury destroys Anthony Joshua, but you don't like the outcome if Deontay Wilder would destroy him? Pretty amazing. But here's some other massive hypocrisy here. These guys actually said that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua are bigger stars, not just a bigger star and a bigger draw than Deontay Wilder, but also a bigger one than Canelo Alvarez. Amazing. See, that's how they justify Anthony Joshua taking the fight, because Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua that's as big as Canelo Alvarez. That's the biggest. That's huge. No, it is not. No, it is not. Not in the UK, not in the middle of a pandemic. And even if it wasn't in the middle of the pandemic, the fight, and Mark Rideout is the guy that's supposed to be in finance. That's what it says. That's what his bio says. He knows finance. If you know finance, then you know that you know math. And you know that there's a reason why Las Vegas has the biggest gates and have gates way bigger than the United Kingdom or the UK. But what do? They don't act like the dollar value that people pay for tickets or that people pay for pay-per-view even matters. They talk about the number of people that would show up to a fight, and even they're not telling the truth because they've got event centers in Texas that can carry 100,000 people. All you might have to do is try to promote the best fighters and give them an opportunity to fight. But here's the kicker. Mark Rideout, in talking about Anthony Joshua and his fight with Andy Ruiz, says that he was ringside for the fight with Anthony Joshua and that Anthony Joshua looked like he was either drunk or he looked groggy. He said he saw him in there and he was doing his eyes all funny. He looked all funny, like somebody had poisoned his water, because Mike Rideout is a fan of AJ. And he was like, look, I think that something might have happened to this guy because I'm telling you, but look, Mark Rideout is not doing anything but telling you what Drew Titan and many other people have said before. Many people who were in New York City for the fight with Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz that said after the fight, talking about before the fight, that Anthony Joshua was having panic attacks and acting all kind of crazy in the locker room. It took a long time to get him out there. All kind of stuff swirling around that, right? Mark Rideout says this in Teddy Atlas's in the podcast that he's in. Do you know what people would say, have been saying, and Deontay Wilder and everybody else when they said Deontay Wilder felt like somebody might have messed with his water? So, here's the thing. Because Mark Rideout knows it's possible, otherwise he wouldn't have said it, they don't make any mention of Deontay Wilder and any of the issues with Deontay Wilder. And to boot, when they're talking about the fight, and they are talking about Anthony Joshua and how Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua is a fight that needs to be made, that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua is the fight that needs to be made. Nowhere in there did they talk about the fact, till the very, very end, about the fact that, like everybody knows, Tyson Fury had a rematch clause. Teddy Atlas said, and this is how you know these guys are just not being honest. At least this is what leads me to believe that they're not being honest. They're not being straightforward, because these guys, they're not dumb. In fact, I think they're quite intelligent. For them to say, well, the contract, my understanding is the contract between Deontay Wilder and that was supposed to end at the end of the year. And, the end of the year is almost here. It's December 15th. Tyson Fury pulled out of this fight back in the beginning of November. No, they're in mediation right now, and mediation means they have to try to work this fight out. But they are going to pitch it. They are going to sell it. They are going to try to get everybody and all of the public to support the idea of Tyson Fury skipping out on his responsibility to fight Deontay Wilder in a rematch, even though both Mark Rideout and Teddy Atlas both say that Tyson Fury will wash Anthony. Oh, excuse me. Teddy Atlas says that he'll wash him. Mark Rideout may not think that, because let me correct that. Mark Rideout might be a fan of Anthony Joshua, but still he does believe that that he's not the same guy. But anyway, don't take my word for it. Go look at the Teddy Atlas interview. But anyway, that's my take on it. And this ain't nothing new. Those guys do not support Deontay Wilder. They say that they have a whole country. That's the part I want to say. These guys say that Canelo Alvarez holds a whole country behind him, right? Tyson Fury has a whole country behind him. AJ has a whole country behind him. If they have these big countries behind them, why are they coming to the United States? And if they have these big countries behind them, why are they only doing 1.5, 1.2, 1.3, 100,000 pay-per-views in their own country? If they're such big, if they have the whole country behind them. Last time I checked, Mexico has the whole country behind their World Cup teams. And if their World Cup team is in the World Cup, way more than 1.5 million people are going to watch Mexico pay Brazil or something like that in the World Cup. No, dude. These guys do not have a whole country behind them. They have the boxing fans of a country, the hardcore boxing fans of a country behind them, but not the whole country. And in that, if that's the definition, Deontay Wilder has a country behind him too, that you're a member of, or you're a citizen of. But for some reason, you just can't find a way to support him. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.